So this is the black Voyage Zephyr, and this bag's claim to fame is the built-in vacuum compression cube that's sewn into the bag. So the idea behind it is supposed to help you reduce the size and be able to carry more stuff by vacuum sealing your clothing and stuff on the inside. So I've always been very curious about systems like this. I wanted to know, do they actually work? Are they more novelty? So in today's video, of course, I'm going to share my experience with this bag. I'm going to go over all the features because there's a lot to go over. There's also a lot of missing information on the website, so I'm just going to do my best using my experience in different bags to kind of tell you what I think these things are. And towards the end of the video, I'll do a full pack out of what I normally carry and show you how it fits into this bag right here. And as always, there's chapter markers down below, so if you need to skip to a section that's more important to you, please feel free to do so. But with all that being said, let's get into it. What's up, friends? I'm John and this is Unpack'd. If you're new here, welcome. On this channel, we like to talk about different backpacks, slings, everyday carry item, and all sorts of different travel related gear. Now, if you like videos like that, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button. So Black Voyage is an LA based carry company, and they really focus on these compression vacuum bags that they have on the inside of their backpacks. They also sell them separately too, so if you wanted just to buy just a vacuum sealed bag for your normal backpack, you can do that as well. So this is their travel backpack, the Zephyr, and there's a lot of things going on about this bag. So let's start with the overall aesthetics of this bag. It kind of resembles like an Air, kind of Cotopaxi, that kind of style of bag. You can see by these darts that are right up here in the front that this bag is intended to hold a lot of volume, and you'll see darts here at the bottom. So it's a sneaky way to sneak in some extra volume into these pockets. Now on the website, there is just no information as far as how much the bag weighs, the dimensions, and the capacity listing is all over the place. On some parts of the website, you can see 40, 60, even up to the official product page. When you click on the sizing and specification, it says up to 120 liters. So I'm just gonna have to go by my experience. I don't have an official liter volume testing, but from my experience, I would say that this is about a 35 liter bag. Could you pack more into it than a normal 35 liter bag? Probably, especially because of that vacuum seal bag on the inside. But I would say in operation modes, it's about a 30 liter bag, and it is expandable from the zipper here on the side. You do have to undo the compression buckles, but you can expand this backpack about another 2 inches, and I'd say that'd give you about another 10 liters of volume. So all in all, I would say that this backpack ranges between 35 and 40 liters fully packed out. Again, like I said, could you fit more stuff in there? Probably, because of the air compression bag, the vacuum seal bag on the inside. So the website doesn't list any materials, sizing, anything at all. It's really vague on the website. They really focus on reviews and customer feedback and features. They're real heavy on that side. But when you get into the technical dimensions and specs and materials, a lot of that information is missing. But from my experience, this main outer fabric feels like a tarpaulin material. It's very rubberized. You can kind of, if you're familiar with the Cotopaxi Alpha or the gravel toiletry kits, it's along those lines there. So I kind of left this intentionally dirty to show you the kind of scuffs and marks and dirt that it picks up. But because it's that rubberized material, a simple damp cloth will easily wipe this bag completely clean and it'll be looking like brand new. So that's one of the upsides of the material. While it does pick up dust and stuff like that, it's easily cleaned off. It's not going to attract pet hair. But it's important to note that it's only on the front face of the pack. On the sides and on the back of the panel, they're using some sort of, feels like a ballistic nylon. It does feel coated. So given that the front face is tarpaulins, which is extremely water resistant, and some sort of PU coated, and I can feel a coating on this nylon on the side, and then you do have PU coated zippers on all the compartments, I think overall this bag is going to be extremely weather resistant. Now the vacuum seal bag on the inside is actually IPX8 waterproof. So anything that you put into that vacuum seal bag is going to be completely waterproof. So again, another advantage to using a system like this, if you're carrying some sensitive documents and other things, you can easily put into that bag to fully protect them, especially if you're traveling to or in a country with heavy rain. So covering more of the external features of this bag, on the front you just have one compartment on the front for quick access. You do have 4 compression buckles, 2 on each side. It is important to note that you have to undo the compression buckles to gain entry into the main compartment or to expand the backpack as well. And you do have one water bottle pocket on the side here. It is a zippered water bottle pocket. I do like that feature because when you're not using it, it zips up and keeps it nice and flush and keeps the backpack looking overall slim and sleek. But the downside to this particular pocket here is that it's a very, very tight water bottle pocket. So if you're somebody who travels with like a 32-ounce vacuum sealed bottle, like a Yeti or this mirror, it will fit, but it's extremely tight. And the more the bag's packed out, the tighter the bottle is. And as you can see, it doesn't fit very well down in there. So not really meant for larger bottles. Even my 20-ounce version of the bottle fits in there very nice, but kind of limited to what kind of bottles you're going to bring. So limited capacity on this water bottle pocket. On the top, you have a very nicely padded top carry grab handle. It makes it maneuvering the bag very, very easy. If you have to carry the bag by this handle, it's going to be very comfortable. And you do have one smaller nylon hanging loop. I really, really love travel bags, especially travel bags that have a separate hanging loop and a carrying handle. Now, there are no other handles on this bag, so I would have liked to have seen one more to make it more easily maneuverable. You know, with larger travel bags, you know, at least two I think would be a good starting point, but at least the one we do have here is very nicely padded and comfortable. And on this side of the bag, we have an integrated TSA lock. Now, it's important to note that only the laptop tech compartment can lock into this TSA lock, but that's a nice little feature to have there to keep your electronics, your laptop, your sensitive items fully protected from thieves with that integrated TSA lock on the side. So right below the TSA lock, you actually have a USB-A and a USB-C charging port. So I wonder, is this a feature that anybody has ever used? I've seen this on a number of backpacks. I've even seen some like roller luggage that has battery power pass through. So on the inside of the tech compartment, you can put your power bank, you can wire it to this port here, and when you want to charge your device, you can easily plug in there. Now, like I said, I actually have a piece of luggage that has this as well. I've never used this feature. Let me know down in the comments, is this something that you would utilize? I know there's a lot of bags that offer it, but I personally have never used it. With the invention of Magsafe, I kind of just throw a Magsafe battery on, so it just eliminates the having cables altogether. But if that option is something you like, you definitely have the option to hook up your power bank there. So moving over to the back panel, this is where a lot of the features are kind of tucked away. You're met with these S-curved contoured straps. They help with comfort. They are very comfortable. They're nice, wide, nicely padded. Now, right out of the box, this padding was a little stiff, but the more you carried the bag, the more you wore the bag, they softened up a bit. The bag became more comfortable with time and the more uses. Up top, you do have a set of load lifters to help you dial in the comfort. At the bottom of the shoulder straps, you do have an adjustable and fully removable sternum strap. It is the center push kind, the magnetic. So nice little feature there. You have webbing management along for the sternum strap, and kind of everywhere in the bag, they have some sort of strap keepers to help keep your dangle managed. And you do have an additional D-ring on the shoulder strap for clipping keys, hand sanitizer, AirPods, sunglasses, all kinds of things. I like to see that, especially on travel backpacks. So all the webbing everywhere on this backpack is that nicer, softer twill. So it's gonna be similar to what you would find on the seatbelt of a car. So again, adding to the overall premium feeling and look of the bag, a nice touch there. Now these shoulder straps do attach to the bottom by an aluminum gatekeeper. And the reason they have a gatekeeper at the bottom is because you can fully take off the straps. And then I'll show you here on the back panel why that is a feature. So when you get to the actual back panel, you have these 4 quadrants of foam. The foam is a little stiff, but it provides a good separation between you and the bag, allowing some airflow. You do have a vertical luggage pass-through. Another thing on this foam here, there's kind of like Swiss cheese holes in it. Again, the bag was actually pretty comfortable and pretty well ventilated, so very good engineering or very good design I felt here on the back panel. Now the reason the straps are removable, because you have a Velcro pocket at the top where these straps can completely stow into and tuck away. If you're putting this, in the overhead bin, or if you're having to check this bag, the straps won't get all mangled up and caught into machinery. So that's actually a really nice feature I like to have, because when you're getting on and off the plane, even if you're just throwing this off on the overhead bin, the more strap that you can manage and wrangle in, it just makes it easier to get to your seat and kind of put everything away. You can unclip the hip belt, tuck everything behind that large pocket of the back panel. And there's also a secondary compartment on the back panel. It's more like a security pocket. It actually runs the whole length of the back panel. You have to pass it under the luggage pass-through. But this whole back thing is a giant pocket. So you can store a number of things in there, especially if you have like your wallet, your passport. It's a great place to put your thinner items, but keep them more secure. It's tucked against your bag, very secure. I just never had a security pocket like that big. It's in the entire back panel. So again, I'd caution what items you put back there, because you could potentially feel them poke through, especially in the center portion here. But keeping your wallet, your passport, smaller items like that, real easy, no problem, and a great way to secure your valuables. So normally I would throw the tech specs for you up on the screen here, but there is no information on the website about how tall, heavy, anything about this bag on the official website. So I'll just toss them up here on the screen, we'll find out together. So overall, this bag stands at about, I would say 19 inches tall. Width-wise, we're looking at about 13 inches wide and a fully packed out, expanded depth. I would say we're right about 10 inches. So at 19, 13, 10, I would say it can pack out very full. You can keep stuff in this bag and it can actually get kind of wide on you. So I kind of feel it gives you that turtle look. So one of the disadvantages to short bags like that is especially big bags like this, they tend to pack outwards instead of upwards, giving you that overall turtle look, and it could really affect the comfort depending on your body size and frame. So sometimes when the bag is fully loaded with features, it comes at the cost of the overall weight. The more stuff you add to the bag, of course, it just increases the weight. So you get to a point of diminishing returns. So I did feel this bag was a little heavy, on the heavier side, I should say. Again, no information on the official website, but luckily I got my trusty luggage scale and we can get an official reading of what this bag weighs. So I'm coming in with a weight of 5.4 pounds. That's dry and empty. Now I did include the vacuum that you're gonna need in here because I feel like if you're traveling with this bag, that is something that you're gonna have to bring with you. It's a small little vacuum. It does come included in the bag. It comes with a variety of tips and chargers, so you could use this for other applications, because in addition to being a vacuum, it also can be an inflator for like kids' toys or other things. So you can get some use out of the vacuum or inflator outside of this backpack. So finally getting into the interior of the bag, it's a lot simpler on the inside of this bag than in the back panel, you should say, but it does open up like a book, like suitcase style here. So on the right side is the star of the show, is this vacuum sealed bag. Now it takes up the entire compartment, and the idea is that you load everything in there and then use the vacuum seal to pull all the air out and compressing that. And on the left side, you do have some pretty generous compartments. At the bottom, you have a large one here, and then at the top, you have a smaller compartment. Now this material on the inside of this compartment, especially the top one, it's made of like something you would find on a toiletry kit. It's very rubber, very PVC-like, so it should make cleaning it easy. So I think it's meant for you to put your toiletries up here. This bottom one can fit a pair of shoes. Now I actually did fit a pair of shoes in here, but a size 11.5 shoe will fit, but it's just not fun to get it in or out. But technically you could fit them in there and the bag will close. It's just gonna take a little bit of persuasion coming around the corners there to get those shoes fully packed in there, but they will fit. So at the top of this bag is a place where I kind of feel they want you to put your toiletries. You can kind of see through it. Again, this material is gonna be super easy to clean if anything were to spill. So I could put my toothbrush and my comb, got my toothpaste and hand cream, mouthwash. I could put a full stick of deodorant, and then my shampoo and conditioner as well. And it all fits in there pretty nice. You just have to play with it a little bit to get everything fitted in there, but you still have room to stuff other things in there if you needed to carry more than that. Normally I would just bring my own separate toiletry kit, but it's a nice option to have there. Of course, since it being a pocket, you can load whatever you want in there, electronics or whatnot, not just toiletries. Now in the main compartment, if you didn't want to use the vacuum seal bag for any reason, it still compresses down very nice and out of the way. So you could still load your traditional like packing cube in there. This is the Peak Design medium. It fits down in there. Then the other Peak Design cube would fit up top, or if you had a larger toiletry kit like my Gravel Explorer Plus, it'll fit in there as well. So without the vacuum compression bag being used, it still operates as a fully functional travel backpack. So if you forget your pump dies, you can still use it just the same. So what I have right here is what I would normally carry for a 5-day trip. I have 4 shirts. I have 2 pairs of pants, a pair of joggers, 1 pair of shorts, and of course socks and underwear for 5 days. So we're gonna load it up into this vacuum seal bag. And I typically travel with more lighter weight clothing, like your Western Rise, your Lululemon. Actually, all of this stuff here is Lululemon, so it's a little bit lighter weight. It's easier to pack. It's more wrinkle resistant. So that's normally what I like to take when I travel. I don't usually wear like heavy coats and denim and stuff like that when I travel, because it's just harder to pack. But so what you could fit into this pack is gonna, vary depending on what you take. But for what I carry, it seems to work pretty well. So I was easily able to fit 5 days worth of travel stuff into the main vacuum compression bag right here. Now when it comes to this bag overall quality, this one feels actually very good. The whole bag feels nice and premium, but this bag feels very nice. I've used bags like this for other applications for carrying stuff, and they've always felt cheap, and after a few hours they kind of let the air in. So this one, traveling with 12, 13 plus hours, kept everything nice and vacuum sealed. It is waterproof like we mentioned, so of course if you want to carry some sensitive items, going to be a great place to do so. So let's go ahead and get this zipped up and vacuumed closed to see how much room we can actually save. Now it's important to note, because this zipper has to be airtight, it is a little bit on the tighter side to zip and unzip. So at the top of the bag they put a D-ring, and at the bottom they put a D-ring. That's to help you grip the bag so you can zip it closed. So again, I don't think that that's something that's going to break in over time, because you kind of want that zipper to be tight for it to remain airtight. So it definitely expects some resistance when closing up this bag. Now I'm going to put down the audio for you here to use the vacuum bag, because this thing can be pretty loud. It has a very high-pitched whistle and whine to it. So again, something else to consider if you're using this system, if you're packing late at night, early in the morning to leave. So if you do use this vacuum, it does make quite a bit of noise. So let's get this vacuumed out. And because it does pack down extremely tight, you can expect to have some level of wrinkleness to your clothing. So that's why I choose to wear those lighter weight clothing, that Western Rise, Lululemon, that type of stuff that's easily, you know, you just hang them up and the wrinkles kind of undo themselves. So something to keep in mind if you're trying to pack like a nice business suit, or you're going to a wedding, your nicer clothes. When you vacuum seal them, you may be dealing with an excessive amount of wrinkling when you get to your destination. So you do still have plenty of space to put additional gear right on top of this, especially if you're going to like a winter destination, you have to put a large coat. This is a nice amount of space left over to put your coat or stuff right over the top. For me, I usually carry my shower shoes. Now these are the Jimmie's Footwear. I hope you're using shower shoes, especially if you're going to the gym. Now they pack down very nice, but it's a great place just to put them right on top because I have the space. And you still got to carry the pump. So now, again, just tossing this in the main compartment because you're going to need it the next time. Plenty of room to do so is there as well. So this front pocket here is your admin compartment, is really your quick access pocket, because there's no other really quick access pockets on this back. So this one's gonna house your essentials. On the inside it is like fleece lined, so it's nice and soft. You do have one zippered mesh pocket on the back right there. And then it does come with a removable key leash you can toss into your keys and snap into place there. So I would have liked to have seen this pocket a little bit bigger. It runs down to about right here because this is where you're getting into that shoe compartment. So it's kind of you're limited on space for you to carry all your quick access items, but your phone, passport, boarding passes, all that good things will fit in there. And then you can put your smaller sensitive items in that mesh pocket so they don't get lost. So this pocket is large enough to house like your over-the-ear headphones. These are my Sony XM6s. They'll fit in there. Sunglasses will fit. You got spot for your cell phone. If you're going to security, you need to toss your cell phone in there. And of course, in the back zipper pocket, you could put flatter items like your Magsafe. This is my Anker Magsafe charger on the back right there. Now the tech compartment along the back is just like a quarter zip. Kind of folds open. You have that bright orange high contrast interior. It feels like some sort of polyester. It doesn't feel the greatest because considering how premium the outside of the bag feels, the inside material, like it's fine, but it doesn't feel like super premium like the materials on the outside. Now you do have a spot for your laptop, your tablet, and they do have these bungee straps here to help them keep them secured. Then on the opposite side, you have 2 drop-ins and a couple of pen slots for you to use as well. And way down at the bottom, you have 1 additional drop-in pocket. I kind of feel like that's like a document sleeve for you to slide folders or anything of that nature way down at the bottom. Now on this right side, you'll see this cord here, and that's the cord for your power bank. So the idea is that you would just plug your power bank in here and set it into this pocket and access it from the outside. But again, not a feature that I've never ever used on any backpack or luggage, but the option is there for you. So I have my 16-inch MacBook Pro replica. It will easily fit into the compartment of this backpack, no problem. I think it'd be a safe bet to say that a 17-inch device would have no problem fitting there as well. And again, you do have the iPad slot on the front of that compartment there. And this compartment starts to get pretty tight here, but you do have still 2 drop-ins there for your MacBook charger. your mouse on the other side, or the power bank should you choose to put one there. And then you can just toss in your cord behind the charger there. So this compartment can get tight fairly quick if you're carrying multiple devices. Not my favorite implementation of storage by having the tech compartment directly across from the laptop and tablet, because you know, once you close this bag up, they're essentially pushing against each other, but it will all fit and it will close. And to be honest with you, I've never had a problem with bags like that. It's just not a, doesn't give me a warm fuzzy feeling to have my stuff being pushed against my laptop and my tablet. So once it's fully packed out, you could utilize the 4 compression straps on the side to help bring this bag in. But truth be told, it is packed out and kind of unwieldy at this point. And you can see the depth there. It is a chunky boy and it sticks out quite far. So one of the disadvantages of having a bag that can hold a lot is that it can hold a lot, it can get quite heavy, and in this case, since it's a shorter bag, it can stick out quite far. So now when it comes to the overall comfort of this bag fully loaded, I would say that it's actually a pretty comfortable bag. If I had to give it a rating on a scale between 1 and 10, I would say this falls somewhere around between a 7 and an 8. So like I mentioned, the straps were a little stiff out of the box, but they do break in over time. I've had this bag actually for like 3 or 4 months now at this point, and I felt that, you know, it does fairly well. Short trips is going to do great. My longer stints of carrying the bag, I can start to feel the overall weight on my shoulders, you know, literally. But I think for your average commuting, your average trips, it's going to be just fine. This is not something that I would want to take fully loaded hiking, but that's not what this bag is designed for. I think for the general purpose use of traveling, it's going to be just fine on the comfort department. And with the addition of the hip belt and load lifters, it'll help dial that comfort in for your specific level. Now, for things that I liked about the bag, the number one thing I really enjoyed about this bag is this simple layout. While it doesn't have a lot of small different compartments for your little tech organization and a lot of little compartments for little things, it had larger open areas, kind of leaving those areas open to you and what you can put into them. So when I travel, I prefer bags that way because I can fit different gear in different places instead of having prescripted slots for every single thing. So I did enjoy the open wideness and layout of the bag overall. And second for me is going to be the overall construction and build quality. Despite the website lacking any information on materials, what kind of zippers, I mean, just no information, not even to how much the bag weighs on the website. I think overall the construction and build quality is quite nice. It does feel like a premium bag. Now this bag does have an MSRP of $299, but there's often sales and bundle deals and all kinds of stuff. So right now at the time of posting, this bag is on sale for $239. So for $239, even in between that $239, $299 range, I do feel like you're getting a tremendous value in return, or at least the amount of money you're spending, you're getting that back in build quality and features. And lastly, the thing I really enjoyed about this bag is actually the vacuum compression system on the inside of the main compartment. So when I first received this bag, I was on the fence. Is it novelty? Is it useful? But actually having used it, I can see a definite use case where it can become quite useful. Like I said, if you need to pack larger winter gear, just compressing your normal stuff down, just, you know, even if you're saving 15% of that space, that gives you just a little bit more to put those bigger and bulkier items there. So I can now say that I definitely do see the value in it. Do you need a backpack with a built-in compression system? That's going to be up to you, but they also sell the vacuum compression cubes on their own. So even if you don't want to upgrade your current travel backpack, you can purchase the compression cubes separately and the vacuum, and then still employ that system in your current bag. So of course, while it's nice to have a travel bag with all the bells and whistles, it comes at a cost. And for this bag, it's going to be the weight. And that for me is going to be my number one dislike with this bag. Having a dry weight of 5.4 pounds puts this bag at one of the most heaviest packs in my collection at this size range. Of course, on the website, this official listing says 60. You go down to the specs, it says 120 liters. Like, anyway, for me, it felt anywhere between a 30 to 45 liter bag, depending on how compressed or expanded you have the bag. So in that about 30, let's call it about a 36, 37 liter range, this is definitely one of the heaviest bags that I own. And once you start loading it and packing it, because of the way this bag packs out, that weight can start to add up very, very quickly. And if you're traveling in a place like Southeast Asia where they measure, or they weigh your carry-ons, you were already 5.4 pounds in the hole before you even got to load this bag out. So something to consider, that this bag itself, because of the way it loads and the dry weight, it is heavy. So another small nitpick I had with the bag is the water bottle pocket. I found it comically small and tight. I wish it had a little bit more expansion when you unzipped it. Now, like I mentioned, fully packed out, a 32 ounce bottle, it's just it's a chore. It doesn't go down far enough. It kind of feels like it's just gonna fall out, especially if you have this thing filled. So I was, had to resort to a smaller bottle, which I don't like to carry when I'm traveling. I like to have a bigger one, but I was kind of limited there. And even at 20 ounces, fully packed out, it's a snug fit, but at least it feels secure. I just wish this implementation of the water bottle pocket would have been better, especially since you only get one. So lastly, one small nitpick I had about the bag is actually with the integrated TSA lock itself. While I like the feature and I like that it's there, it's actually only available to the tech compartment. So only the tech compartment zippers can clasp in there and lock. Since the lock's already here, I wish there were a way to incorporate the main compartment to be lockable as well, since you already have the lock here. Kind of like how Magsafe does with their bags. They have that rhubarb system where you can lock the tech compartment, you can lock the main compartment, all there with one integrated lock there. So I think that that was a missed opportunity here by having it only lockable to the tech compartment, because you've already gone through the time and space to invest and give that a dedicated TSA lock. Making it overall more functional to use with the rest of the bag, I think would be a great enhancement of that feature if you're gonna offer it. So overall, I think that the black Voyage Zephyr is a pretty good travel bag. I do like the layout. It is definitely suited and formatted for travel. The security features, the load lifters and hip belt, all this stuff, great things you wanna see in a travel backpack. But because you can fit so much stuff in there, that this bag can be quite heavy. And at a 5.4 dry weight, already a heavy bag, something to keep in mind if you're smaller frame, smaller statue, that you really load this thing up, so you need to be prepared to carry it because it can hold a lot of stuff. So let me know what you guys think of the black Voyage Zephyr, especially of the vacuum seal bag on the inside. Is that a feature you think is useful? Is that something that you've been looking for in a travel bag? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I will say, I am surprised that as long as you pack it nice and flush and flat, it does reduce nice and evenly, giving you some added space on the inside of your bag. So again, it's a nice feature. I can definitely see the use cases for it. For me personally, it's not something that I would personally seek out in the bag, but if you are taking a winter trip or something that requires extra gear, can definitely see the usefulness and where it would come in handy. So if you made it this far into this video, I want to say thank you so much for sticking around to the end. Thank you to Black Voyage for sending the Zephyr out for me to test and review. And if you like this review and you want to see more like it, please hit that like and subscribe button, and I can't wait to see you on my next one.